Hoi! Dr Damo here, and if you've been following me on any of the socials, then you know I've just hopped off to the land of freedom burgers and fries, the US of A. And as you've guessed, that might mean a smidgen of an impact on how quickly we can punch out our videos, and how that might affect the quality of our work. I can already foresee Steph and future me swearing at the drop in voice quality. But yet, you're watching this video. How? This is where good content pipeline comes into the works, helping us drip feed you all those goodies no matter the situation. And that's what we're going to learn about today. How do we go from text to shitposts on screen? So strap yourselves in. Today's lesson is oriented towards video creation. Believe it or not, I have background experience in film and television, backed up by the amazing Steph doing the video editing and our residential post Scribe. That's why our videos are of reasonable quality considering the low budgets we had to work with. At the high level, our typical pipeline is we pick a subject, create a high level script, drill high level into the details, storyboard the visuals and videos required, record the voiceovers, first draft, second pass to fix mistakes, then release and enjoy. Starting with the first step, what do we want to yarn about? We have to select the subject first. Either we pick from the long beer tasting palette, a topical subject that just popped up, catching my attention like a shiny dollary-doo on the sidewalk, or Steph cracks the whip at me to goad me into speaking on a current trending topic. Still hasn't worked on me, Steph! Keep that Crapple Vision Pro farther from me. Once we pick the flavor of the day, the next is flopping out the content. Just like in research literature writing, the best way to get ideas out is with very short one-sentence lines. Keep it short, sweet, and condensed. It doesn't have to make a lot of sense, just enough detail to be expanded upon later. Other ways to approach this is to use visual tools. Physical tools are great for in-person shenanigans, such as whiteboards, pen and paper, and sticky notes. Now, this is important as it allows for rapid iteration and spotting any major errors before time is dumped into the project. Pick the issues early on. Just remember, when you're laying out the dot points, start at the very high level. What are the key things that you wish to portray? Group your topics. Try to bring similar concepts together into groups. Order the groups into a timeline. Think of it like a sandwich. Each group is usually laid out with an introduction to the topic as your base spread, an expansion into the detail, think of it like the meat, and 3 or 4 relevant points to help reinforce the thought you're trying to convey, much like the tomato sauce, cheese, and ketchup. Then, finally, slather it on top with one sentence to wrap up and conclude the topic, forming the sandwich. Once we have a list of dot points, it's time for the next step. Next step is to expand out those dot points into tangible sentences. This is the most tedious and time-consuming process. Every swig of the hammer, every dent you make into the script, completes it, sharpens it. Do not be afraid to go over the same sentence multiple times. Then, when you have filled out the paragraphs, start going over each section. Read it aloud. Ask yourself, does the explanation make sense? If you read it out to a friend or a family member, would they understand? If so, how much do they understand? Can you pronounce each word in a decent rhythmic state? Is it hard to speak? If so, simplify it. How long is the spoken phrases? Can each phrase be simplified? This phase is all about expansion and inspection, checking to make sure that when you read the script aloud, you can do so with confidence. That way you know that you're never gonna give you up. Once you have your script in mind, the next thing is to plan out the visuals. Back in the day, movies were not cheap to make. A lot of pre-planning goes into every scene, especially scenes that require dangerous hazards, explosions, fires, and lots of people, each costing a whole lot more than the equipment I wear on the daily. Typically in a movie set, for each scene, we would sketch a series of storyboards telling us who will do what and why. This pre-planning means each second spent on the tools is precise and unwasted. Luckily for you, if you've been doing the hard yakka up until now, this part becomes easy and fun, since you already have a timeline of the topics and what you want to discuss for each topic. When we're doing a presentation in front of people, we usually make one slide per topic. This is no different, except we can extend each topic to several images to get your point across. For each topic, think what image or video would be used to best help get your point across. If it's about color contrast, a color wheel is good. Cars, try the car part or even a turbo. Then lay out your scenes as a quick stick figure drawing. plan your transition between scenes, or to pass the time, we use cutaway shots. These focus on something different from the target matter, allowing us to show time passing quickly. For each scene, detail 1 or 2 sentences describing what actors, if any, are in the section of the video, how are actors established or introduced within the scene, what props or items would be needed within the scene, how is the scene closed or transitioned into the next. In our case, we don't usually record real videos, but we have an artist render up graphics to help explain my points, allowing us to be quite cheap on the tools. You can tell that this is where the Scribe normally comes in. Once Steph and I have laid out the script and the storyboarded the scenes, the Scribe gets to work. We usually leave notes in the script detailing what image we believe should be shown and when, though sometimes the Scribe gets a little bit cheeky and goes off the wagon. While he's painting the world with my ugly mug, I get to work on the voiceovers. Here, performance is an art. Fun fact, I was the worst when it came to stuttering back in the day. We all get nervous after all. The trick to overcome this? A deep breath and lots of practice. First, make sure you've set up your equipment correctly. For the crispiest audio quality, try to record in a smaller, well-furnished room with the mic at the center. Then, check your volume so that at your loudest expected tone, you don't see that audio meter go past the maximum. Try a sample recording with a typical sentence. Normally, I use check 1, 2, 3. That way we can articulate all of the accents that may be present. Play the sample back. While you might hate the sound of your own voice, like I do right now, it will give you an idea how raw the audio will sound. Then it's time to begin. Slap that script on a wall in front of you or on the computer screen, or in my case, 7 screens, and get to work. Don't be afraid to stop and start whenever you muddy up what you're saying. Even I have to give a few goes when recording. Once you've recorded the voiceover, edit it down so that way the audio is level and any background noise is removed. Now, it's time to put all of that effort together in the video editing suite. This is where Steph gets her turn to shine. Referring to the storyboard made earlier, lay out the audio track, lay the video frames over the text, add all of those lovely special effects, and finish it all off with a little bit of smooth ambient audio to fill in those gaps. Once the video is ready, each of the brewmasters at Beer get to have an advanced screening of the first set of drafts. Here, everyone gets to poke fun at me, and the likely many mistakes we have made during this process. But don't be discouraged when getting the feedback. Ask a friend for advice, categorize the advice or hints, and continue to polish the video up. The more effort spent here, the cleaner the video becomes. You'd be surprised how many times we go over each video during this drafting process to ensure we pick up on any silly mistakes, even if some of them do make it through. Finally, at the end of this long marathon, it's time to set a release date. If you're doing the whole YouTube thing, try teasing the video in advance so that your audiences know what they're going to expect. We usually do an announcement post within the Discord, where you can easily reach me for funny banter. Then, pick your release time. Typically, we release our videos at the end of the workday, though we shake it up on occasions. However, it's always good to try to be consistent with these release dates so that way your audience knows when to come back. And that's all she wrote. To recap, first, pick a subject. Then, create a high-level script. After, drill high-level into the details. Illustrate a storyboard, the visuals and videos required. Record the voiceovers. Perform a first pass of the draft, then check it again with a second pass to fix mistakes. Tease, release, and enjoy. And that's all that it is for today. We hope you enjoyed this little peek into the curtains behind how we bubble and brew all the videos you watch. Do you have any questions or want more tips? Feel free to hit me up either in the comments section below or via the social media links in the video description. Oh, and like and share, etc, blah 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 blah. Till then, I'll see you next time.